russosbrand.com, where the pros are the pros. I honestly think, bro, we're lucky we're not consulting for them anymore, because my comments after this past 3 or 4 days would have got us fired anyway. And it all starts with SmackDown, which was nothing. This is on USA Network, SmackDown. You know, you guys know what they paid for this show. So starting on Friday on the USA Network, this literally is an infomercial for Netflix and Saturday night's main event. You know, one is on NBC and one is on Netflix. And Ben and Stevie, I go back to, I was talking about this, and a lot of people obviously don't remember because I'm a lot older than everybody else, and that's fine. Bro, do you remember when Carson would have a guest that had a show on another network and they would never put the network over? Remember, man, if it was not on NBC, they would never mention CBS, ABC. But I am watching SmackDown on Friday night. This was a 2-hour infomercial, Stevie, for Netflix and NBC, and the bill is being footed by the USA Network. Bro, I don't get this for the life of me. And something happened very telling on Raw last night pertaining to this that we'll get to in a minute. But Stevie, freaking USA, you talk about a red-headed stepchild. If I am them, I am absolutely furious. But I don't know, Stevie, is this the feeling you got watching this show?
Yeah, absolutely, no doubt. The reason why it just doesn't make any sense is you're telling people not to tune in to SmackDown on USA in January, but leave USA because Raw is no longer going to be there, and go to Netflix. Go to another spot. They should have had something in the contract to say on your way out, people have to find you. You're on our network until January. Do not mention anything else. And they are definitely phoning it in. And now we're going to go into every man and woman for themselves for a Rumble. Same cycle every year.
Ben, what do you think about this? It was just like, you guys are you that effing stupid and that afraid of the WWE that you're just going to sit there and send people to other networks?
Is there a USA Network? We talked to the president of the company who left for a movie company. And then after that, they restructured USA and NBC, and everybody had their own creative team, their own board of directors, and then it all got shuffled in NBC. USA might still be nothing more than a brand, with a former graphic designer being the point man over there now. And you expect them to do that? Of course they're gonna trample all over it. They're not even thinking about the value of the tape library when WWE ends the app on January 1st. Is that going to Peacock? Is it going to NBC? Like, that's huge value. How that's not going to Netflix? Probably because Netflix goes, we don't want to pay for the server space, because that's thousands upon thousands of hours of video. And on a $5 billion deal, you don't want that? That seems like that would be figured into me. So very strange of why we would even judge USA on those same parameters, really, because I think it's just a shell company for NBC now, just to put stuff out. There really isn't its own identity behind the scene that somebody would have to answer to for doing whatever they want to on the show.
Stevie, one of the things that, like, I'm watching, like, Saturday, I'm watching SmackDown, and this freaking, like, popped me huge. I'm just like, where are you guys getting this shit from? Bro, did you see early on in the show, I forget what it was, but there was a brawl in the opening segment, whatever. And then we come back from commercial to the back, and, you know, Nick Aldis is trying to reprimand everybody about there being a fight and a pull apart in the opening segment. Bro, freaking Nick turns around and says, do you know how much paperwork I'm going to have to do now? And I'm like, what? Like, when there's a fight in wrestling, we're doing paperwork? Like, where the hell did that come from, Stevie?
They must have hired somebody from one of the old TV series about, I don't want to arrest you and have to do all this paperwork.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, you guys always hear that. It's always the police. There's all kinds of paperwork when police are involved. But now in wrestling, we got to do paperwork. Like, where are they getting this shit from, man?
Well, the joke's on Nick, because the old agents like Lanza and all those, Gurria, what are you, smart ass? They all had the agent reports already typed out before Friday night on the first house show.
Yeah.
So Nick needs to learn from the legends.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, like I put in my lower third about pull aparts. If every week there's a pull apart, the pull aparts and the brawls and the out of control chaos is not special. Yeah. We're becoming very desensitized to that. Now there's a pull apart minimum one time every show, if not 2 to 3 times throughout the night. So, and then that kind of, it decredits, or it gives less credibility to an authority figure. And now Nick Aldis looks like, and the agents are always the Keystone Cops. So how would you solve that? I always try to go with a question back to you as a writer. Do you just eliminate those to maybe the go home shows, or what would you do to make them more special?
Yeah, well, it's Stevie, it's really across the board, because they just keep, it's the same angles getting stretched out. It's they do something on SmackDown and then they go do it on Raw with different people. They just keep repeating the same stuff. We saw a string of weeks where somebody was attacked in the back. Now we're seeing a string of weeks where, everybody's brawling around the building. Last night we saw on Raw that they are just continuing these feuds that should have ended at the freaking Survivor Series, and they just keep going on and on. I just think, bro, I just think desperately the business as a whole just needs to be looked at through new eyes, Stevie, because my God, it's just the same old, rinse, wash, repeat over and over and over again. There is nothing new on these shows, Stevie.
Well, let me push back on that a little bit. I'm agreeing with you, but at the same time, don't we already have fresh eyes from Hollywood? Don't we already have an outside? That's what I mean. You have an outside company. Maybe Hollywood just has the same, seemingly, especially with the superhero movies and the new Craven movie and all this other stuff. Are we looking at just phoned in across the board, whether it's wrestling or not? Is this a cultural shift of just overall laziness and just trying to just keep beating the same drum? It sure as hell looks like it in all facets of culture, entertainment, politics, the world, everything.
I don't know, Stevie. Is it that, or is it, I don't even think it's playing it safe mode anymore. I literally think they just have a format and they just keep sliding stuff in, and they got certain tools in the toolbox. They take these tools out, and it just seems that they play the same tools week after week after week.
Yeah, and I got to say once again, that's what they're doing with the Marvel movies. That's what they're doing with DC. That's what they're doing with every single. There's nothing new. Everything's a sequel, a prequel, prequel, and or a remake. So wrestling's not, the only, criminal in this thing. But is it going to change? The only way it'll change is if they lose all their deals. That's the only time I can see wrestling doing anything. But maybe it's just, I was saying, Ben, it's not just wrestling, but everything, movies, television shows, music, and you can speak really even improv or anything has literally now gone into phone it in or just go back, prequels, remakes, sequel. Just let's take a property and let's beat everybody over the head with it.
Do you people like my new hairstyle?
Oh my God, very nice. Thank you. Thank you.